for our joggers this semester, we're going to do a simplified version. So we're going to not cut out the pockets, and we're going to cut all of our pieces out of the same fabric. If you really want a matching trim, you can talk to me, but this is how we're going to lay it out. So for the small size, it should fit on just a smaller amount of fabric, even though I have cut out. But if, when you lay out your pattern pieces, this piece doesn't fit here, the fabric that I have ready for you is actually long enough that this piece could go up here for the small. Ours fits, so I'm going to put it right here. And when you lay out your pattern pieces, usually we look at the pattern layout in the guide sheet, but since we're simplifying it and doing it a little bit different, I've taken a picture of each of the different sizes and how the layout should look, and they're on canvas, so you can take a look at that. So after you get your pattern pieces laid out onto your fabric, then you have to measure from the grain line arrow to the selvage edge or the fold. You can do either one. So if I measured it across, it's kind of hard to measure that far. You can either use your rotary cutting ruler to measure, or you can also grab a measuring tape off of the hook on the green file cabinets right there at the end of the ironing station. Okay, so once I get my pattern pieces laid out about in this design, I put my measuring tape or my ruler, and how I like to do it is I just put my finger right where that edge is. I've got 5 1/4 inches, and then I go down to the other end of the grain line arrow and make sure it's the same distance from the edge, 5 1/4 inches. So if this distance is the same, well, let me go back. I put a pin in this end once I measure it, and then after I measure this end and it's exactly the same, I put a pin in this end. And you'll do that with every one of your pieces. So if this is 5 1/4, this probably won't be the same distance. It's just that on each individual piece, the distance here has to be the same as the distance here on every one of these pieces. And there's just 4, so this is going to be a really simple project. Once you get your pattern pieces measured and pinned, then instead of pinning all the way around the fabric, we're just going to put weights on our fabric. And you might just be able to put weights on one piece at a time. You should always lay out all your pattern pieces before you ever start cutting to make sure they fit in the best use of your space. And then you can start cutting. So I have enough weights, probably just for these 2. I'll cut out this piece and then this one. When you go to cut out your pieces, you can use the rotary cutting ruler on straight edges. So if I were cutting this edge, and I'm just going to move this a little bit closer to me, I'd put my ruler. I don't want to be cutting off my pattern, but remember, you're always going to have this side of the rotary cutting blade against the ruler, and I can just go ahead and cut up there. Start a 1/2 inch before the edge of where you want to cut. Now, that's about as far as it goes to be perfectly straight, because now it starts curving for the hip. So I'm just going to go without using my ruler and cut the rest of the way. Now, if there's anything that I missed, I'm going to go back and I might have a nick in my blade because it's missing about every time the blade goes around. Okay, and that is how you'll cut out your pieces. It's pretty quick and easy with the rotary cutter. I'm going to cut out this one piece, and then I'm going to show you how to transfer your pattern markings.